All right, let's get right into it. There's this weird feeling a lot of us have been getting online lately, a sense that something's just off. Like the places we used to hang out and connect feel, well, kind of empty. Today, we're going to put a name to that feeling. I mean, have you ever felt like you're maybe the only real person online? Like you're just shouting into this digital void? You're scrolling through comments that don't quite track or seeing posts that seem like they were designed by an algorithm for an algorithm? It's this weird sense of digital loneliness, right? And it seems like more and more of us are feeling it. And if you need one single image to capture just how bizarre all of this is, look no further. Welcome to the world of Shrimp Jesus. I'm not kidding. This is a completely nonsensical image cooked up by an AI that went insanely viral on Facebook. It doesn't mean anything, it has zero context, but it got millions and millions of clicks. And believe it or not, it's the perfect symptom of a much, much bigger phenomenon.
And that phenomenon, that feeling, it actually has a name: the dead internet theory. Now, the core idea here is the belief that real, organic human interaction online, it's not the majority anymore. That the internet we see every day is kind of like a phantom, a hollowed out shell filled with automated content, all of it designed for one thing: to keep us clicking. The thinking goes that what was once a place for people has become a place for bots.
Now, this might sound like some far-fetched conspiracy theory, right? But here's where it gets really interesting. When you start to dig into the actual data, that creepy feeling starts to look a whole lot like a cold, hard fact. We're moving beyond just paranoia here. This is about traffic analysis. Let's start with just one single stark number: 51%. According to the latest Imperva Bad Bot report, that number represents a brand new majority on the internet for the first time in a decade. But a majority of what exactly?
A majority of all internet traffic. Yeah, you heard that right. Only 49% of all the traffic on the web last year came from actual human beings. The other 51%? It was all automated bots. And if you look closer at that breakdown, it gets even wilder. Malicious bots, the ones used for scams, spam, all that nasty stuff, they now make up a whopping 37% of all traffic. That's way more than the helpful good bots.
And this isn't a one-off thing. The problem is actually getting worse, and it's getting worse fast. This report marks the 6th year in a row that bad bot activity has gone up. So why now? Well, the explosion of easy-to-use generative AI has basically supercharged this whole trend. It's made it ridiculously easy for anyone to deploy these bots on a massive scale. So where is all this artificial traffic going? Well, pretty much everywhere, but some industries are getting absolutely hammered. In retail, for instance, almost 60% of all traffic is from bad bots, scraping prices and creating fake accounts. The travel industry is a huge target, and if you're in financial services, bots are constantly trying to break into people's accounts. So this isn't some abstract idea. It has very real-world consequences for all of us. Okay, so this begs a huge question. Where is all this coming from? Well, the thing is, this flood of artificial content, it isn't just an accident. It's not some glitch in the system. For some of the biggest players in the game, it's actually becoming a deliberate business strategy. It's not a bug, it's a feature. And you don't have to take my word for it. Just listen to this quote from a Meta executive. He says, "We expect these AIs to exist on our platforms kind of in the same way that accounts do. They'll have bios and profile pictures. I mean, whoa. They're not talking about fighting bots. They're talking about creating them. The vision here is a future where our social media is populated by AI personas, living right there alongside us. And all of a sudden, the goal isn't just about connecting people anymore. It's about generating engagement, no matter where it comes from." And this really puts that whole shift into sharp focus, doesn't it? I mean, Facebook's original mission was all about human connection. But the new sort of unstated mission, it seems to be manufacturing artificial engagement. Think about it. If a bot talking to another bot keeps the user numbers up and the ad serving, from their perspective, that's a win. Now, this all feels so new and unsettling, but the philosophical ideas behind it, they're surprisingly old. In fact, there was a French philosopher who basically saw this whole thing coming. The bots, the AI content, Shrimp Jesus, the whole shebang, all the way back in the 80s. His name was Jean Baudrillard, and he was completely fascinated by how our reality gets replaced by symbols and signs of reality. He came up with this theory of simulation, and he argued that our culture was becoming a world of copies, with no original. Does that sound at all familiar? So, how did Baudrillard think this would all go down? He laid it out in 4 stages of decay, like reality slowly falling apart. Stage 1, an image reflects a real thing. Simple enough. Stage 2, that image starts to twist and distort reality. Stage 3, the image masks the fact that there's no reality left behind it at all. And then you get to the final stage. The image becomes completely untethered. It's a pure copy with no original. He had a name for this, a simulacrum. And what is Shrimp Jesus, if not the absolute perfect example of that final stage? It's an image that reflects nothing. It means nothing. It exists only to be passed around inside the system. It's its own pure simulacrum, the ultimate empty sign floating in this giant sea of artificial engagement. So when you put all of this together, you've got the data showing bots are the majority. You've got the business models that are actively encouraging it, and you've got the philosophy that basically predicted it decades ago. We're left with a really critical question about where our digital world is headed. So let's be super clear here. The internet isn't literally dead. Of course, there are still real people here. You're here, I'm here. But the theory isn't really about a literal death. It's about a transformation, a fundamental shift away from an internet that was built for human connection and toward one that is optimized purely for artificial engagement. And that leaves us with this one last thought to chew on. As our digital world becomes this ocean of automated, artificial, and often meaningless content, what does that do to the value of a single, authentic, messy, unpredictable human voice? What's its purpose? And in all that noise, how can it possibly be heard?